Okay, our previous examples revolved around just some basic formulas. Now, these are not going to introduce any new uh, graphical elements into the design. We're just including in the if-else structure on this. Okay, so I'll create a new project. Um, if it says multi-platform, change it to iOS. We want to choose an app. Click Next. And let's see, what am I going to program? Let's do the slope. Slope sign. And again, put the organization identifier in here. If necessary, it creates its own unique bundle identifier. These should be set to these items here. And then you click Next. I'm going to go ahead and click Create. Now, since we're going to be working with the slope, our formula for the slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we need to get our two values. Let me go ahead and make this full screen. There we go. So I'm going to get rid of some of these. I guess okay, the padding. I'm trying to think if I want a vertical stack. Yeah, vertical stack. So get rid of the image and text that's in here. Now I'm going to drop on a horizontal stack. So I'll do a plus. And I'll kind of build this as I go along so you can see the formation of it. So here's my horizontal stack. I'll drop that in there. Now for our content within the horizontal stack, we're going to put two different items. We'll put a text. So I'll delete that. Plus, type text. Drop that as my first element in the horizontal stack. And this will be X1. Click at the end, press enter. Do my plus. I want to drop on a text field now. Right below that. By putting these in a horizontal stack, they're side by side. And this is kind of the friendly reminder what to put into it. The X part, let's try to put that in prints or in quotes though. The X part of first point. It's kind of wordy, but that'll go with it. Now, we're going to be putting this into a variable, so I'll leave that alone for the time being, and let me go ahead and come up here and create my first variable. Actually, I'll go ahead and create all of them. So add state, private, var, and x1. And this will be a double. Now set equal to 0. Add state, private, var, x, y1, y1, double equals 0. Not that the order matters. State, private, var, x2, double. Double means the number with decimals. These always say when you're bringing information in and out like that, they always share at state private. Var means we can change it. So it's a variable. Y2. And then, of course, I already said double, and we initialize it. So then down here, we're going to be bringing in the value, but we want to plug it into X1. So we'll do a $sign X1. The $sign tells it to come up here and look. And what do I got wrong? Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, I lie. These should be strings. Okay. Need to get over that lying. That's kind of a bad habit to get into. Okay, let's initialize these. There we go. Yeah, I'm not working off of a script here. So, okay, so that's X part of the first point. That'll be fine. I want another horizontal stack here. You can actually type them, so you don't have to do that and drop them in. It's almost, if you're familiar with it, then it's probably just as easy to type it than do anything. This class I took in high school was typing. A lot of pretty girls in that class. Okay. No, failed to build. What am I doing wrong? Can I find? Yeah, it's easy just to type it, assuming you could spell correctly. There we go. So you see as it's building, I'll do another horizontal stack. Horizontal stack is so I can put them side by side. Text, this will be X2. Text field, this is the X part of the second point. Text, X2. Then one last one for the input. And when you start typing here, I'm typing it all up. You can do a tab. And I know you can do that, but I just get in the habit of typing and it's like tab. And that does the code completion. Text field, Y part of the second point. There we go. So I got those. I need a button now. Probably if I just start typing button. Um, I don't know the syntax of that. So that's the nice part about the dropping it on there. So I know the action goes in there. There we go. I'll drop the button on there. There's where the action goes. And then we'll put my answer in the next blank down. So I'll come finish button here in a minute. So H stack, text, sine of slope. Text field. Answer goes here. Not sure if that's really necessary. I haven't declared this variable, but I'll call it A and S for answer. So I'll come up here. Bar answer string. There we go. Now this is what the button should say. So I'll say calculate. And this is what I'm going to run in terms of the function, the method. So calculate sine of slope. Have to have the, can I find, okay, that's fine. I'm going to be adding it. Now you can do a little bit more cosmetic items on these if you wanted to. I suppose that's up to you. Like the text field here, if I do a dot, this will pop up with everything that needs to come up. Okay, so I think border was one of them. Yeah, so if you want to put a border on there, then let me silence that phone. There we go. So you can choose a border there. I still didn't like the fact that this is missing, but I put a black border around it, assuming it could build it. Maybe we ought to go put a dummy function in here. Now, remember from previous videos, your last curly brace is one that aligns with a struct. And this one, if I click it, you can see it briefly go yellow, and that lines up with the main body here. So you put it after the main body, and we'll have a function. What I call it? I called it calculate sine of slope. Second type, beginning curly brace, closing one. If I didn't screw that up, putting that in there. Okay, then you see our border goes around there. So, if you wanted to have a little bit more of a look like that, you can. There's a lot of options that we're not putting in here because we're just focusing on learning the programming side at first, and then we'll go back and circle back and we'll look at kind of the graphical elements. What can we do with it? Okay, so down here, let's see, is there anything else I need to do up here? I got that, declared a variable. That's good. So I'll come down to my function now. And this first if statement is basically to see if something was left blank. Because maybe you don't want to run it if they left one of the fields blank. So I'll say if and lit. Now I need to declare these variables. Or do I need to declare them? I think with a lit, I don't have to. So lit x1 num equals to double, and then my x1, and then comma, lit x2 num equals double, x2, comma, lit y1 num equals to double, y1, comma, lit y2 num equals double y2. Now, when I do this with this lit, it assigns all of those and returns true if the assignment was done correctly. You might say, well, what do you mean assignment's done correctly? Well, it means that there was something to actually convert it to. Obviously, if they leave it blank, then it's not going to work right. And so that's what this is checking. Then I'm going to have my slope equal to the change in y, so y2 num minus y1 num. Order of operations says, please excuse my Durant Sally. Please do what's inside parentheses first. So I had to put parentheses around this because this is the top of my fraction. Divided by x2 num minus x1 num. Now I'm going to do a check here. I'm going to say if, and I don't remember if I need parentheses. I start mixing up the languages that I work with. So if slope is greater than 0, then this is going to give us a positive result. So we'll say our answer is equal to positive. Down arrow, come down here. Else if slope is less than 0, can I find slope? Yeah, let's see here. Can I find slope in the scope? Hmm. I didn't declare it. Helps to declare variables. That's kind of an important part of programming. Then answer equals negative. Otherwise, bottom else here says answer is equal to, if it's not positive, negative, that means it's 0, like that. Now let me check this, and then I'll talk about maybe some potential changes and why we have to declare some variables, maybe not other variables. I learned a long time ago, don't start explaining your code though until you see if it actually works. It's kind of an important component. Okay, where's my simulator at? Two, 5, 3, 7. Positive. I didn't put down what the slope was. I guess I'd go back and change that. But if I subtract the y's, 7 minus 5 is 2. Subtract the x's, 3 minus 2 is 1. So you got 2 over 1, which is 2, which is positive. Now if I change this one to be less than the other y value, like 3, if I'll click that, it'll give us negative. If I make the y values the same, this should give me 0. Now if I give the x values the same, it should blow up. But we'll see. Yeah, I didn't see a crash. Android is a lot not as forgiving about that because I'm doing a division by 0. 2 minus 2 is 0. But it could be that there's some residue left over from the doubles that causes it not to blow up. Okay, so let's come back up here and we'll put slope up here. So add state, private var, the slope value. What do I call it? Slope value. How about slope string? There we go. And then down here, I do another horizontal stack here. Text, slope. Let's try to see if there's a width. I can't remember how to set the width of the text. Bet there is. Text field slope value. It almost makes a person think they have to enter it. So answer slope value, or obviously I'm not going to get a job designing these things. You get the idea. Missing argument. Oh yeah, I got to put the variable. Text. What do I call it? I call it slope str. Now again, you can resize this if you wanted to see things maybe a little bit more pleasing on the screen. I still got something wrong. Oh, preview paused. Okay, I was wondering why I wasn't updating. When your simulator is still running, it does that. Now I could put a border on that if I wanted to. So I come here and do dot border, color dot black. Okay, so that'll give us our slope. Now down here, I actually need to write it out. So, let me see, slope's a double at this point. So slope str is equal to string slope. This is called casting. It's where it changes the data type. Since slope is a double, I need to cast it, put a string before it like you see here, and then assign it to slope string, which up here, slope string was defined as a string. Now let's run this one more time. I'll stop the simulator here, maybe. Hello, McFly. Debugger killed. Maybe I'm just not patient. I guess I'm not patient. Okay, let me run that. Okay, 3, 4. I'm pretty sure my signs work, so I'll just put in some values there to calculate. And that tells us our slope is negative. Okay. Let's come back over to here. Let me stop that. Now down here, I had to declare slope before I could use it. This is how you declare a variable with var, the name of the variable, slope. Shouldn't have any spaces in it. Shouldn't start with a number. Typically, you shouldn't have any special characters, but we'll see in certain places Swift wants a special character, but we'll talk about that later on. Colon, then your data type. You can have integer. There's lots of different integers if you've noticed. And this one's double, means number with decimals, and you set it equal to 0. You might say, well, 0 is an integer. It is, but it converts it to a double when it initializes that. Now here, we didn't declare these. We said lit. The variable declares a variable that you can change its value. The lit is like declaring a constant. So if I were to go down here, x1 num is equal to 3. I believe it gives us an error. We'll check. Yeah, right there. Cannot assign to a value. x1 num is a lit constant. Now I could probably declare these as vars instead of constants. It has more overhead to be a variable because you can change it. But we'll let them be the constants like that, and then that'll check if we run it. So put 3 in here, I put 4, I put 2, and click calculate. And it's weird, it's not working. It's not supposed to. Remember our lits. This makes sure that we enter something in for all values. Now, if I put in an A, it probably, I don't think it'll blow up. I just don't think it'll work. But if I put a number in, then that shows what the lit does. So that's kind of a error checking. Did I put all my data in? Now, if it doesn't matter where you put your data in, you'd leave that part out. For example, if it did not matter about Y2, you would take away this lit and the comma before it, and you'd only put in there, what you want to check. Well, that's an app to find a slope and to determine the sign of the slope. So that demonstrates how to use an if-else structure in an app.